you can make excuses as to like, oh well, here's how I tried to help everything. Here's how I tried to help everything. Here's how how it's gonna unfold. Here's all of the things that I think is gonna happen during litigation. But why the fuck did you leak anything? Destiny. Okay, so there's some hot stuff happening with Destiny right now. Some pretty crazy shit. It seems like he was leaking revenge porn of some lady who he had had a sexual relationship with some person that he was DMing on Discord, and then that person leaked out the video to everybody. It seems pretty fucked. It seems really bad, but we're gonna read Destiny's response, and from the title of it, it doesn't seem good. It seems like he's probably not going to take it as seriously as it ought to be. Okay. Sometime in November, extremely sensitive and personal material of mine was leaked. This affected not only me, but many people in my life. I want to be clear, the leak happened without my knowledge, consent, or authorization. I never had any intention of these images to be public. I haven't spoken out publicly regarding this situation for a few reasons. One, I am actively pursuing criminal and civil litigation on these matters against multiple parties. Two, publicly speaking about these materials brings more attention to them, which harms all of the victims involved. Three, I have been trying to move on from covering quote-unquote drama content, as it had an increasingly negative impact of those in my life. And four, one person involved has expressed suicidal thoughts in relation to the matter, and I did not want to exacerbate the situation by talking about it publicly. Because there are now multiple parties involved in litigation, it is unlikely I'll be able to answer any of the questions until pending litigation has been resolved. That said, though, I am limited in what I can say. It is important that people know about my recent communications with and regarding Pixie, someone who I was friends with and collaborated with on many occasions. Since the leaks were first circulated, Pixie had stressed to me about keeping things out of the public eye. I've always said that I would do my best to not confirm or publicize anything, and I kept my word. How long is this? No, it's not that long at all. I received a message from a mutual acquaintance called Lauren Hayden, better known as online Lauren De Laguna. Excuse me. Lauren has had a negative sentiment towards me. I rejected her romantic advances earlier in the year. I understand that she had organized the fundraiser to support Pixie's lawsuit against me and assumed that she has been counseling Pixie on how to proceed. That same day, I received a message from Pixie where she suggested she would create a post about me and that it would go live after she committed suicide. This concerned me greatly. I genuinely believed that she was still in mental anguish following the leak weeks earlier. I responded in earnest, doing what I could to reassure her and let her know that she had every right to pursue legal course of action. At no stage did I try to convince her otherwise. It was highly emotional, volatile time. A few hours later, I messaged a mutual friend who I knew to be particularly close with Pixie. We tried to figure out the best terms. In that conversation, we spoke about things I could do to alleviate the toll on Pixie's mental health. Suggestions, and presented them to Pixie. I explicitly offered her to help her financially, having had it communicated to me that she was also under financial pressure while dealing with this matter. Pixie responded, stating that whatever the price she would ask would be too high and would only result in her in making her feel worse. Later in that conversation, she told me that Pixie seemed to want me to cover the entire tuition for law school. Others told me that Pixie thought it would be appropriate for me to pay her anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million. At no point did Pixie make a specific or explicit request for financial compensation. I think sometime on December 13th, Pixie unfriended me on Discord. It became clear that no amount that I would agree to be satisfactory by nature of the fact that I agreed to it. Third parties communicated that The point of any financial compensation would be to punish me. That language was incredibly frustrating to hear secondhand. I had already shown a willingness to make things the best that I could. I had spent time talking to a mutual friend of ours with the intent to help address concerns with her mental health and suicidal thoughts. I was objectively harmed by the situation, was actively seeking a resolution that worked well for everyone. I am not sure where Pixie got this idea that she needed to financially punish me. Some of my most personal friends had gone out to the world because of what happened. Including multiple incredibly explicit videos of mine, many of which had been forwarded to family members and colleagues. Information had come out which was irrevocably damaged my personal relationships. This saga has been a nightmare for all parties involved. Her accusation, I likely used extremely hurtful. I flat out cannot believe that anyone would think I would intentionally leak this material to the public. I increasingly felt uncomfortable by the language being used to regard financial punishment. At this point, I just tell people close to me that if Pixie wants to pursue legal actions against me, she's always free to do so, but I don't feel comfortable talking to her or about her until, at very least, my current legal actions have run their course. It's been brought to my attention that Pixie has now tried to re-add me as a friend, but I have ignored these requests. I've never told anyone that they cannot speak, and I've always left the option open to them. Despite what some people have said, I've never threatened Pixie with litigation. My goal is to respect the wishes of the people affected by the leaks. I do not... So, this doesn't really do much for me. It feels like we're like avoiding the biggest part where he's saying like, oh, you know, this is all the things that happened after. I genuinely wanted to help after, you know, we're filing litigation. I don't think, you know, whatever. We're not addressing why the fuck would you leak it? Why would you send it to the person? Like, why would you send it to anybody else? That's insane. You can make excuses as to like, oh, well, here's how I tried to, you know, help everything. Here's how I tried to help everything. Here's how, you know, how it's going to unfold. Here's all of the things that I think is going to happen during litigation. But why the fuck did you leak anything? Or why did you send anything? Destiny is ducking the serious points. Okay. Now that we're done with that, Grok can come back up. Okay. Grok, you can unmute yourself if you want to. If you have anything that you want to say about the Destiny thing.
I personally feel really disappointed because I think he's ducking the main thing, which is that he without respect to the sort of oh my god, consent of the people that he shared the explicit material of, he shared explicit material of people.
Yeah, that's
other
obviously
people.
the biggest thing, yeah.
Yeah, right, and he doesn't even touch on that. And the main, like, he doesn't talk about it at all. So I think that's the most fucked up thing.
Yeah, my guess is that he wouldn't defend it. Like, if he came out and said like, yeah, this is true, you know, like he wouldn't even try to defend it because it's so like obviously fucked up. And my guess is that he probably just didn't want to include that in the apology just because like he didn't want to comment on it. But like anyone who reads this, whenever you issue an apology, I feel like whenever somebody reads it, they should get all of the context required to understand his response. So for him to avoid the main part of this whole fucking thing and then like have a big response to how litigation is going to unfold just feels like, okay, litigation about what?
I think this is like a firecracker. I think it's going to start, like, it's going to burn in the Pixie sphere, and then it's going to explode, and then it's going to branch out to other spheres, where it's going to be like the people that he shared explicit material of are going to come forward, and then it's going to be like a huge thing with them, and then it's going to be a big thing on their stream with them, and it's going to be on live stream fails with them, and then it's going to just be this huge, massive thing where you have like 4 or 5 different people who come forward and said, Destiny shared explicit material of me.
Yeah,
And it's going to be like, Why the fuck didn't you just say outright in your first ever statement about this thing, because you were just ducking like talking about it for 2 weeks, right? Why didn't you just say outright, oh, I fucked up, right? Like
Right.
I
Yeah.
was talking to this girl and I was like, why don't we just share explicit material, or why don't I share explicit material that I had of these other people, right? That was fucked up of me. Shouldn't have done that. That was the main crux. That was the main sort of like linchpin. I shouldn't have done that. The rest of it isn't on me because it was leaked stuff that I didn't want to be leaked, right? That's fine. I'm not blaming him
Yeah.
for the rest of this stuff, like the dick suck thing that got shared around. Am I allowed to say that? I'm on
I don't
stream.
care. I don't care.
Okay, sorry. The rest of the stuff that got shared around that was sort of explicit, right? I'm not blaming him for that. I'm blaming you for the scummy thing that you did initially, which was shared these people's non-consensual photos, or that private stuff that you did with these people non-consensually. I think one of them was an audio that he had, and his phone was in his back pocket, and he specifically said in the DMs that he sent to the girl, the audio's a bit grainy, sorry, right? You
Oh,
knew that the audio was grainy because your phone was in your back pocket, because you knew that you were in non-consensually recording them. That's the biggest fucked up thing to me. And if you would come out first with an apology saying, or at least in this Reddit note, which he didn't even touch on explicitly at all,
right.
saying like, hey, I'm sorry I fucked over these girls, like specifically, I'm going to name them. I'm going to say, hey, I fucked over you. I fucked over you. I'm fucked over you. I'm so sorry. You guys shouldn't even be implicated in this at all, because I shouldn't have even have sent those messages. If you had said that, I wouldn't have any problems with it, but now I do have a problem with it because he did send those messages and he hasn't even talked about him at all. And he's only talking about Pixie and her legal shit, and he's only trying to make himself look more like the victim, which in a certain sense he is the victim here. I'm not blaming him
Like
for some
half.
of the stuff that
Yeah, but
yeah. I'm not.
I mean, even if
Maybe not even half. Like,
even if he didn't want to come out and say like, hey, these are the specific people that I've affected and I'm sorry to him, just because like you don't want to reveal names or whatever, that's fine. But just come out and say like, hey, listen, here's the problem. You can name Pixie because, you know, he already did and she's coming out with litigation, but say like, hey, listen, I fucked over these people really hard. I shouldn't have done it. Like, he could have included the DMs that Pixie included in her Substack post. Like that, those were like, it kind of showed some level
yeah,
of
he didn't
remorse
talk
for
about
him.
the Substack post.
It
He
kind
didn't
of,
talk about the Substack post
I
at
feel like
all.
it showed some of his remorse, and I feel like it would have honestly made him look better than just this Reddit post.
It
But
seriously would have. It seriously would, because this Reddit post doesn't at all talk about the tons of people that were fucked over sort of inconsequentially by the shit that he did. And now it's sort of it's like this. It's we're on the third layer right now. The first layer was the 2 weeks that he put it off, right, and that he didn't even want to talk about this drama and the whole Melania thing. And now the second layer is this, right? The second layer is like his second acknowledging of bad things did happen. Pixie does want to pursue legal stuff. And now we're on to the third layer. I don't know what the third layer is going to entail. It's going to be some more crazy shit. It's probably going to be some stream drama. He's probably going to talk about it the next day that he goes live. But
well,
now we're on to the third layer.
I'll be watching, but I'll probably be, not necessarily a fan of what I see unfold. Yeah, this just sucks because I thought that Destiny, like, obviously I knew he was a freak. I knew that he was like, I had a feeling he was doing some fucky shit behind scenes, but like I didn't want to like speculate on it because people's personal lives are none of my business. But like, I thought if any of that shit leaked, he would probably engage with it with some amount of honesty and say like, hey, listen, I fucked up. Here's exactly where I fucked up. Like, here's, at least do that. Like, it wouldn't make everything better, but it would at least make me like
Yeah,
still
no.
view you as an honest actor. But like, this response feels like I don't know. It makes me feel like he's kind of acting dishonestly just because he doesn't want people to realize what he's being accused of. Because like, if people just read Destiny's post and don't actually read any of Pixie's Substacks or any of her like
Yeah,
posts
no,
about
it's
the
this
thing,
whole
they
thing.
won't know what Destiny did. Yeah.
I think one thing that made me like Destiny for a long time, because I used to be a sort of like a Hassan kind of guy,
Mm-hmm.
and one thing that made me like him is that if you go over and you hear from the other side, you'll like the other side because they're bringing forward better arguments than you can hear. But this is sort of disallowed from all of the Destiny circles. Like, you can't talk about it on the subreddit, you can't talk about it on the Discord, you can't talk about it from anywhere else.
Yeah.
And now, like, it's like, if you go over to their side and you hear what they have to say, it's kind of like, yeah, Destiny did kind of fuck over these people. It is kind of shitty what they did, and it just generally moves you away from his side. And Chud Logic and people like that were calling this out for like 2 weeks prior, back when the thing first came out, and they were just like ringing the alarm bells and being like, this kind of seems like for the first time Destiny's on the wrong side of this. Like, it seems like
Yeah.
it's on the shitty side of this whole entire argument, and he's just not even touching it, which is so out of character for him. But it's also kind of like what you would do if you knew that you were kind of on the wrong side of the conflict generally.
Well, I think it's mainly because like Destiny hasn't really had to touch anything super serious. Like, with all like the Mr. Girl report shit, it was like, okay, like I don't like this. It doesn't even deserve to be taken seriously. So you can kind of hand wave it and it's fine. But then when like like an actual really fucking bad thing that he did gets leaked, it's like, oh shit! Like you can't. The way that he's handled every single drama since then can't be the way that he handles this, because this is like serious and there's a lot of receipts and he fucked up bad. So like, yeah, I like, yeah, I don't know. It's bad. It's bad.
If he doesn't come out honestly, like with a big thing saying like I fucked up, here's exactly where I went wrong and here's exactly why I went wrong, I might honestly like just move away from him generally. I think that that's kind of like a turbo scummy thing to do.
I agree.
And that's not to say that I won't like him politically in the future. Like I think generally he is good politically, but I think that this as like a personal thing to do is just not good. Like I think that you have a moral obligation to not do these things, and I don't know. That's just where I am at.
Yeah, no, I for sure agree. He's got to do something big. He's got to, you know, donate to some charity would probably help. Come out and admit everything that he did wrong. Maybe even just take a month off. Like just really like stew over everything. Don't do any like stupid fucking streams. Just like just really sit with it.
I think streaming's his job. I think it's kind of his job to sort of do political stuff and not do that. Like, I think if he were to only do political stuff and not do any shit with like, I don't know, Darius or all these other fucking idiots, like
that would
I think
be
that would be perfectly fine, because that's your job and that's how you make money. But I'm saying that like if you don't come out and say here's exactly where I went wrong, here's exactly why it was bad, that's what's wrong. That's what's fucked up. Because we know where you went wrong. We can see the messages, we can see the DMs, we can see the leaks. If you don't say that in those leaks, that's where I went wrong, that's where I went bad, then that's fucked up.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it means you're trying to sweep something under the rug.
Especially if his first like big, because I mean like even a post to the Reddit, like this could probably be come back from, because the post to the Reddit's probably only addressing DGG, so it's like, okay. But if his first like big correspondence on stream is to either ignore it or to not come out and say like, hey, this is what I did, like objectively I did do this, or if it's even tough there, because he's probably gonna want to save some of that for court. Like he wouldn't want to come out and make admissions like that due to litigation, but like
shit, you're right. He might want to save some of it legally.
Yeah, something he needs to do something about it. He either needs to say like, listen, I can't make any factual statements until litigation covers up, or he needs to come out and say like, hey, I did do this. And if he says that I can't comment on it based off of litigation, he needs to expect like half of his fucking fan base to leave him for a little bit until litigation clears up. Because
how big is Pixie? How much money did she have to bring litigation against him? That's a big question, because
I think it's being fundraised.
I mean, yeah, okay, that never mind. I could see that being fundraised by his haters, by his Mr. Girls and his such. But what I'm saying is that like how much time and effort would this be for her that it wouldn't be for anyone else, just because like at least with oh my god, I'm not trying to like compare him to people like this, but you know, who's that big fucking guy who was like oh, I won't let you onto this TV show unless you sleep with me. What's
Weinstein?
The name of that? Yeah, like a fucking Weinstein situation. Like, I'm not saying it's like that. I'm just saying that at least in those cases, like, you expected the sort of, like, lawyer scrubbed, you know, like, innocence proving type a statement to come out from the people. Yeah, you wouldn't
expect a response like that from Destiny.
Yeah, come on. And Destiny's the guy who likes to get in the fucking mud. Why is this the sort of like bleak, like only trying to make myself look like the victim Reddit post that we're seeing?
Because he probably did fuck up. That's probably why he probably did it. That's
yeah, but here's the thing. He's the type of guy to know when he fucks up. He's the type of guy to be able to admit on stream, like, I fucked up. I made a serious mistake here. But why aren't you just coming forward with that? Because that would make you look so much better than this, which is just ducking and ducking and ducking and ducking and sweeping and having these people around you like take hits to their credibility because you're sweeping, or because they're sweeping for him, like Turkey Tom or whatever his name is, right? Like Turkey Tom right now is sweeping for Destiny, and it's sort of just like in the situation where why are you taking hits for him when you know this could potentially be like the end of Destiny's career? Sorry, not to make it that dramatic, but it could just be like this.
We don't know all the
I
crazy shit
honestly,
that has come out.
I
mean,
think
we
this
have to
is
see.
less bad than the stuff that happened to him in 2012. I think this is less significant than the 2012 incident where he was like sharing that one girl's pictures around that a bunch of other guys. Like, I think it's less bad than that.
I
However,
don't even
I
know
still
that
think it's
one.
bad enough that he should. Do you know like the details around the 2012 one?
Nope, no, I know nothing.
Okay, if you knew more about it, then you'd probably like I don't know, you might be on
Maybe.
the same page. But what I just think that he should at least be able to say something about it. Like
Yeah.
I think he has in the past fessed up to the 2012 stuff and just been like, yeah, that was fucked up what I did to this girl, but at least she apologized for, or at least like we both came to the same page about it. Like there's been sort of like a mutual agreement, so to speak, but he hasn't even gotten anything close to that for this one. And right now, the person who's most able to, come to terms with him and agree with him about what's going on is suing him right now,
Uh-huh.
and it's clearly legal action. So
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna probably just let the courts figure it out, or wait until he has a next stream to comment anymore, because this is all just speculation. But he seems pretty fucked right now, unless he comes out with a giant
I
reversal.
agree.
But
Personally, the thing that I would read on stream if I wanted to be explicitly thorough, and I would be skeptical while reading it, would be the Pixie Substack. So
yeah, I
I'll
already
see if
read
I
it.
can.
I already read it off stream. But I
Oh,
mean,
have you read it? Okay.
yeah, yeah, and it did not
He
look
doesn't
good.
dress like anything in it. Like,
Yeah. Well, that's why I was so disappointed by the Reddit post, because I had already read Pixie Substack, and I was like, oh shit, this looks really bad. But at least he'll make a post about it. And then he made a post and it addressed nothing, and it was like, ah, fuck. But I
yeah,
mean, I guess we'll just see
Hey,
how he
generally,
engages with it.
I like Destiny as a dude. I get he's a coomer. I get he's this fucking big guy, but does not seem good for me. Like, this is just personally disappointing as a fan of his, and it just, if he can't come up with something that is a bit more substantial than this, or is a bit more like just thought out and drawn over than this, sort of like not even all encompassing, like barely encompassing Reddit thread, then I think it might. Let's say it's wraps for me. I'll probably still watch him. I'll probably still care about what he's doing politically. I'll probably still care about all that stuff. But I as on an individual level, I'll probably say
You'll
that
definitely
this
rethink
is
about some
a
shit.
stain on his record.
Yeah,
A big stain on his record.
for sure. All right, well, I'm gonna go pee, and then I don't want to talk about Destiny anymore. But I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
Feel
All right.
free to stick around.